Hello, my name is Darnell Lewis, and I'll be talking to you about the LifeVest monitor for cardiac patients. The LifeVest is a wearable cardioverter defibrillator that is an option for patients who suffer from sudden cardiac arrest to help monitor and improve the patient's living status. The vest has electrodes that monitor the patient's heart rhythms for life-threatening abnormalities. When the vest reads a life-threatening rhythm, it warns the patient just in case the patient is conscious. If the patient is conscious, then a shock is not necessary and the patient can defer the shock. If the patient does not respond, it is presumed that the patient is unconscious and a shock is needed. If a shock is necessary, the vest will coat the electrodes in gel before delivering the electrical shock to jumpstart the patient's heart back into a regular rhythm. In November 1986, Marlon Stephen Hyman and a few other men founded the LifeCore Company. With this company and a group of other inventors, they were able to collectively develop the implantable cardiac defibrillators, which led to over $3 billion in annual revenue and also inspired them to make the wearable cardiac defibrillators, also known as the LifeVest. Since the prototype, LifeCore went through 4 different designs for the LifeVest, and with each new design, the product weighed less and was more easily and more comfortably worn than the last. Many tests and studies were needed, of course, to patent and start selling the devices. But with the production of the new vest, the company grew into a great debt, and in 2006, the Zoll Medical Corporation took over the LifeCore business and continued running the tests. On December 1st, 2001, LifeVest was approved for use by the FDA. Preclinical and regular clinical trials were done. In the preclinical studies, there was a biocompatibility test which tested to see if the materials for the vest would irritate the skin of the patients wearing it or if it would wear and tear from the constant movement of the patients wearing the vest. The materials from the vest were deemed compatible. An animal study was done on pigs because its heart was closely related to that of a human. This test was to see if the device would successfully defibrillate a pig that has gone into cardiac arrest. The vest defibrillated successfully 5 times in a row. The stimulated use study was to see how often the device would shock a patient after the patient pressed the cancel button when warned they would be shocked. From all these trials, the FDA predicted that the risk of a false shock would only occur 1 in 128 years. Actual clinical studies began October 1996 when 10 patients volunteered to be induced into ventricular fibrillation (VFib) or ventricular tachycardia (VTech), the only 2 times the vest would shock a patient, and all 10 were defibrillated back to normal on the first attempt by the vest. In April 1997, to test the device for faults and false triggers for shocks, 15 patients wore the vest for 58 days and none were delivered a false shock or automatic detection and defibrillation without warning. Then, in February 1996, there was a trial where 289 patients from 16 different clinics who were at a high risk of going into cardiac arrest wore the vest, and it was able to treat 5 of the 7 correctly diagnosed events of cardiac arrest. Again, on December 1st, 2001, the FDA approves of the use of LifeVest. The LifeVest is currently marketed only in the United States and in parts of Europe. The FDA shows that the LifeVest has had a 71% success rate at treating those who are in danger of sudden cardiac arrest. Patients who do not have any type of defibrillation or who are able to get to their phones only have a 25% success rate. Hopefully, in the future, we will find a way to protect patients while they are wet or taking a shower so that they can keep the LifeVest on. Maybe one day medicine advances will be able to concentrate the shock so that it does not travel with the flow of water and it only shocks the necessary points.